else, if it's just my bit, then what we can do is that we do the recording and include that.
Yes, just popping on the recording now. That's a really good idea. Thanks. Sweet. Okay, so just a recap, I'm filming, so won't be able to be doing welcome calls this evening unless it's on Monday. Monday, if you have people who you want to, you know, they have questions that need answering, Monday evening at 7:30 is perfect. Otherwise, it's going to be Agaliki from 6:30 going onwards. Courtney, I believe you're doing the Harmonics Lunch Club this week. Has Agaliki spoken to you? Can she hear me? Maybe not. Hey, sis. Okay. Maybe her internet's gone, bless her. So, from what Agaliki and I have spoken about, Courtney will be doing the Lunch Club Harmonics. So, for anybody who has time between the 12 and 1 p.m. window, yeah, she's gone. Courtney, I believe, will be leading that class, but if not, I'll amend that in the newsletter. For anyone who's not on the newsletter, please pop your email into the chat box. Zsolti, you are now on. Just pop your email in there so I can update the newsletter list. But I think that is it. Forex Basics is going to be held by Agaliki, so that's fine. So from me, updates, that's kind of it. So this week, I really need you guys to be on top of your learning, you know, attend your go lives in accordance to your strategy that you're using. We're mostly delos on here, but just ensure that you're, you know, taking control of your learning whilst I'm not going to be so present this week. And also for those of you who are here, please engage in the group chat. You guys need to be there to support each other, especially at times when I'm not there, to hold everybody up and maintain our energy. You guys need to, you know, be the champions of this community. It's not my group, this is our group. So, you know, at times when I'm not going to be so present and available to support each other, you know, keep up the morale, let each other know that you guys are all here to support each other. Okay, really important. But in terms of updates, that's everything from me. Anything else that comes through will, like I said, be put in the newsletter and or the group chat via the leaders. Guys, I'm super excited. We've only got a few people in this chat today. There are about 6 of us on the call. Good to see you. And today we're going to have a really fun session because it is being hosted by our very own OG, Zsolti, who not only has he just been on such an incredible journey whilst learning about the Forex industry and, you know, taking the steps to become financially literate, but I've been able to witness his growth from such an interesting kind of dynamic in that, you know, I've been his mentor during this period, but actually before he joined IM, he was my manager at work. So that dichotomy of relationship has been such a beautiful one where we've been able to learn so much from each other. And even still, every single Zoom call that we have, every time he speaks, I'm taking notes, because he has so much wisdom and information he has to offer. And this is why we felt this is a really good opportunity for him to share some of his nuggets today. He's going to be giving us some tips on how we can be a little bit more financially savvy. Really important during these COVID times, am I right? But also, you know, we are creatives. We're trying to save up for a life that we want to have. Really important that we are kind of allocating our money and spending our money really wisely. And Zsolti is going to be sharing some of those nuggets with us. So guys, can we just throw some love into the chat box, some sparkly hands? There we've got for our OG Zsolti. Whoop, whoop, good to see you.
Thanks, Jess. That's very kind. I think Jess already mentioned in the messages that today I'm going to talk about a little bit about points and credit cards. And really this was inspired by last week's session where you know, everyone was sharing their vision board for 2021. And I think the majority of people had travel on it, especially exotic destinations or further destinations. And that's where sort of the idea came from, because it's something that, you know, I feel very passionate about. Like I've been kind of trying to get savvy in the past couple of years, like how to make it more affordable and more convenient to travel. So today I'm going to share just a couple of tips. Disclaimer, I'm not a financial advisor, so I'm not telling you to sign up to credit cards and spend money you don't have. Do not spend money you don't have, or yeah. So, but this is more just like a generic overview of how, you know, how I do these things. a lot of them, majority of them will be UK specific, but hopefully those who are not from the UK, I know Jamal, you are in Canada. Jenna, whereabouts are you? US, okay, that's actually quite good for you. I tell you in a second why. Courtney, and I think we have Pamela. Do we know where are you from, Pamela?
London.
London, great, UK. So yeah, I'll try to keep this as broad as possible, but the examples will be fairly UK focused. And at the end, once we finish the call, I actually have a collection of links, useful links. So I don't know, I'm going to send it to maybe Jess and include it with the recording in the newsletter, so you can click through and just do more reading and research for yourself. But basically today, what I'm going to focus on is points, specifically Avios points that you can earn through many different ways and convert them into flights and a lot more. Avios is essentially a point system, mostly linked to British Airways. You can collect Avios points through a couple of airline frequent flyer programs, but the two biggest ones would be British Airways and Iberia. And I'm going to walk you through like how you can actually do that. I've already said that it's important when I talk about credit cards that I'm not a financial advisor and just don't spend money you don't have. At the same time, what's been my mantra for the past couple of years, like you shouldn't spend money without earning something with it. There are so many loyalty programs out there. There's so many rewards you can get through your day-to-day spending. And this is just one of the things that you can earn, and that is Avios. So I collect Avios mainly through British Airways, and it's very easy to sign up. There are other programs as well out there. Virgin and all the airlines, they have their own program, and a lot of them are linked to credit cards. And when you read further on, from the material I'm going to send you, you can make your own decisions. In the UK, there are only a handful of options. It's not as big market as, for example, in the US. The US is massive, and there are a lot more benefits and rewards there, and a lot more options you can utilize. So Jenna, that's quite good for you. And there is a website that is kind of focusing on the US market, so you will be able to research your own options locally. But yeah, in general, like everyone, whoever is watching the video, I know it's a very eclectic bunch we have in TC, so take this as a general guideline and then research your local options. So essentially what happens is that you get a credit card that allows you to collect Avios. Actually, I'm going to share my screen. I think that's going to be a bit more interesting. Am I allowed to do that? Can you see my screen? Do you see the Avios screen? Great. So so yeah, basically this is the Avios website. It used to be a lot bigger and you could do a lot more things. And this is just for general information. But essentially what you can do, you can spend Avios on flights, hotels, car hire, and on a bunch of other stuff. But these are sort of like the main ways you can utilize the points you earn. And you can join the program through essentially these 4 airlines. They have their scheme linked to Avios, but British Airways would be the biggest one. And the great thing about joining these programs is that you're not just tapping into the network of that one particular airline, you're tapping into the entire network they have. So for example, if you earn your points, your Avios points through British Airways, you also able to use those points for all the other One World members. So British Airways is part of One World, and you can see American Airlines, Cathay, Finnair, Iberia, Malaysia. So there are quite a few, Qatar, Qantas, they're all part of it. So that's why these points are so powerful, because they transfer amongst different airlines. So you're not, if you say you're not a fan of BA, you can still utilize the points. Just checking on my notes. So when you sign up to these frequent flyer programs, you also then go and end up choosing a credit card that you can apply for. And the way I utilize this is I'm not using the credit card to spend the money I don't have. Essentially what I've done, I've got a current account, I've got a debit card I used to use, and I shifted all my day-to-day spendings at the groceries, or anytime I spend money just normal, instead of using my debit card, I'm using my American Express. American Express is one of the best options out there, because it gives you more points per pound or per dollar, or in whatever currency you spend. But there are other options, MasterCard and so on, that you can apply for. And rather than using it to spend on things that you don't have the money for, you just spend it on your day-to-day expenses, and then at the end of the month, when it's due to be paid off, I just pay it off, so I don't have to worry about it. These cards don't come with any promotions, like you always have to, I think the cards have 50-something days to pay it off, so nearly 2 months. You have the grace period to settle the balance, so you're not, it's not affecting your credit score. And actually, I don't know if many people know this, but it's very good to have a credit card, because when it comes to, say, mortgages, buying a house, they always look at your credit score, and by having a credit card, which you pay off on a monthly basis, through that you demonstrate that you can be trusted with money, you will pay the money. So what it does, it elevates your credit score and makes you eligible for better deals. So that's another perk of having credit cards if someone doesn't have one. These credit cards tend to come with a yearly fee. There are options where there is one American Express card that doesn't have an annual fee, but some that have really good perks, they come with an annual fee, 140, 200 pounds. But usually what happens that the perks you get out of the card completely offsets that cost. So for example, so here is a British Airways American Express card. When you join, if you spend £1,000 in the first 3 months, you get 5,000 Avios points. So that's one way of accumulating your points, and it doesn't have any yearly fee. And then it comes with different benefits, especially if you're choosing a paid for one. It comes with travel insurance and stuff like that. That might come handy. I personally have this card, the British Airways Premium Plus card. It does have a £200 fee, but you can see like if you spend £3,000 in the first 3 months, then you get £25,000 points bonus. And just to give you an idea in terms of what you can do with the points, for example, if you want to fly in Europe, that tends to be around 9,000 points. So that's there at 2.5 flights in Europe, just by signing up and you doing your day-to-day shopping on it, assuming that it surpasses £3,000 in 3 months. But there are other tricks how you can boost your points. Or I think it was Courtney who mentioned it, the dream trip to Thailand. So I looked up, and Thailand for a return economy ticket it's 39,000 points. If you want to fly business, that's 150,000 points. So you have to be smart in terms of accumulating your points, but once you get there, you like, I think personally, I was never in a position to afford business class flights, and the only way I experienced them was through points. That, you know, it may take some time for you to accumulate it, but then when you have that trip, especially if it's a long haul trip, you can really appreciate to travel in style and in comfort, and just elevates the whole experience. To give you another example, a couple of years ago, me and my then partner, we traveled to Australia, and through the points and the different vouchers you get with these credit cards, we managed to fly business class there and back for £600, which it was ridiculous. Even just like economy flights tend to cost like over £1,000. So there is a very good website called the Points Guys, and they have a beginner's guide. So I'm going to include this link, and it kind of walks you through, like, what I'm talking about is a very condensed version, but there you just find a lot more details and links. And Jenna, for you, there is thepointsguys.com, which is the US version. They only launched the UK version 2-3 years ago. So, and there you will find a lot of descriptions in terms of, you know, how to go about it, like what programs to sign up for, what different recommendations for credit cards to get the most benefit out of it. For example, with my British Airways Amex, I get a companion voucher. If you spend, I think it's £10,000 in a whole year, then you get a companion voucher, which is essentially 2 for 1. So another thing like that we utilized when we flew to Australia is we only bought one seat. Actually, it was a premium economy seat with points. We had an upgrade voucher, so it became business, and then we had a companion voucher, so we had doubled it. So there are very clever ways you can make this work and travel nicely. Sorry, I'm just checking on my notes, making sure I've covered everything. In terms of how you're collecting the points, apart from your day-to-day shopping and just using the credit card, one thing you can do, and again, that's a bit UK specific, but I'm sure there might be local options available. So British Airways has its own sort of shopping site. Essentially, this is a referral website. If you tend to purchase with big brands online, then it's best if this is your starting point, because you can really increase the amount of points per purchase. You can see there are several, loads of companies in different fields where you, instead of getting 1 Avios per pound, you get 4 Avios if you go with John Lewis, or ASOS, 5 Avios. So utilizing channels like this can really help you boost the amount of points you earn. Another trick that quite a few people use is often when you can't use American Express for payment, it allows you to use PayPal. And you can actually link your American Express to your PayPal account and use that to pay. I actually know people who pay their kids' tuition fees for school via PayPal just so they can get the points, and the whole family can fly business to Miami every year. That's literally how they do it. It's a lot of points. There are also if you might be collecting points through other companies, there are a lot of ways of combining points through third parties. So for example, maybe not the best example, but up until tomorrow, they're going to actually stop it. But for example, Tesco allows to convert Tesco points to Avios. For example, there are loads of hotel chains that are partners of Avios and allows you to transfer points back and forth. Another similar program that exists is for Virgin. Virgin has their frequent flyer program, and you can earn points through that as well. And you can transfer your points to multiple organizations or back to the airline, so you can really pool your points and make the most out of it. I also realized that I only have 5 minutes, so I'm just trying to. Something that happens often is that lots of places don't accept American Express, and the trick for that is there are programs that provide MasterCard. So for example, you can get a Texaco credit card that is a MasterCard and is connected to Avios. Virgin Atlantic has their own credit cards that is a MasterCard. So you can, if you can't use your American Express, you can always use a secondary card. So I've got 2 cards. I've got a MasterCard and I've got the American Express. My MasterCard is through Lloyd's Bank, who no longer does this deal, but but when I got the card, they did that, through your MasterCard, you can also earn Avios. So you can really maximize the opportunities to collect these. And how you can really spend these points is really through flights. You can go on the British Airways website and search for reward flights, and you have lots of options in terms of using cash, using point or part cash, part point. Just to show you an example, so at the moment I've got 78,000 Avios points, so I can go to Bangkok twice just from this point economy, or I just need to collect a bit more and I can fly business. But here you can see on my statement that I've got usually 2 transactions. So one is for my Amex and one is for my Lloyd's. So, mostly I use my Amex and sometimes my MasterCard. So really just making the most of collecting these. And then you can utilize these points not just for the flights, but I mentioned hotels, car rental. You can use it for Eurostar as well. If you use it, but that's basically the general idea. So you join the program, get a credit card, use it as your debit card, pay it off monthly, and you utilize these different tricks and routes to accumulate as many points as possible. Once you hit certain targets, you get vouchers, and then the combination of that will help you to travel in style, which is why I'm doing it, really, is I love to travel far away. So if I can make that experience bearable and enjoyable, then for me, it's definitely worth it. Yes, I kind of rushed through, but I hope it made sense. I don't know if at this very moment, do you guys have any questions?
You actually answered one of my questions that I had, and it was really helpful to actually see the back office of this, because I was like, okay, so if I have a secondary MasterCard, does that mean I have like 2 separate profiles, or will it automatically come under one profile of me? Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, it all connects here. Yeah, essentially you have an account on the British Airways website, but like I said, you are able to use these points. Like when you search in the search engine, you can see all the other airlines as well. So you're not just using your points for British Airways, but for anything else.
Very, very cool. Guys, does anybody have any questions before we finish this call? But I don't know about you, but I found this really not even just helpful, but really quite inspiring, and I'm kind of excited to get my spending in check. I don't know about you guys, but I have no problem saying that I'm a bit of a consumer. I love to shop, and I haven't been shopping smart. I haven't. And to see that I can get my ASOS delivery and have 5 points per pound, the game has changed. Okay. So if you have, been thinking about maybe being a bit smarter with your spending, then absolutely check out the links that Zsolti is going to be sharing with us. I've got a whole page of notes, so thank you so much. Guys, can we just throw some love in the chat box for Zsolti for sharing this with us, and go away, do your research, figure out what works for you or what doesn't work for you. But I think, whilst we're working so hard to become financially literate and improve our future, then we need to be able to manage our money when we have it as well in the same way. And even now we need to be practicing those things. So really very helpful. Thank you so much, guys. If you have any further questions for Zsolti, feel free to send him a message privately, or I should let you say that before I just like pimp you out to everyone.
I'm in the WhatsApp group, so you can just message me there if you have any questions. This is just just a final table I didn't pull up, but this is just giving some examples of like the different points. This is flying from London, but you get an idea, what you can get on one-way flights in terms of economy or first class. You can see the range. From 6,500 to to the crazier numbers, 100,000 and so on, the further it is. So, but like I said, I'm gonna share a whole list of links, quite a few links, and yeah, hopefully this was helpful.
And say, for example, when you buy a plane ticket, do you also get points for when you buy a plane ticket?
Oh yes, when you purchase a flight with BA, the portion that you're paying in cash, you will earn actually more avios. You get 3 avios per pound. So literally left, right, and center, all you do is just accumulating points, just doing your regular life.
I love that. And even talking about Courtney's dream of going to Thailand, the fact that you can do your bucket list thing through not having to pay for it, essentially. You are just doing your everyday life, and those things add up. You get rewarded with your bucket list. And I think that is pretty special. So for you guys who are travelers out there or who want to be doing more traveling, this is most definitely a really helpful and useful nugget for you. I'm really excited about our chairman mentorship call that is starting right now. It is our very own Baz Koijman, okay, guys? So for those of you who are traders, which we all are, jump on. He uses the pivot scanner, such a beautiful tool that I really came to grow and love from like the period of like January through to April, before I started looking into DLO a little bit more. It's really just useful to know who these other educators are that we don't get to see all the time once you've found your kind of favorites, and also to know what other tools and scanners that we have as part of our company. Like we're truly spoilt for choice. And Baz is such a talented trader, and it's just great to see what else we've got going on there. So I will be sending the link right now into the TC group chat. I will be on there, so I hope to see you guys on there too. Any questions, comments, concerns before we switch over?
I have some questions, but I'm going to send them individually because they're very specific.
Okay.
If you're not doing the call, Jenna, I don't know if you're doing the chairman call. I'm free to talk after this.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I might just stay on and we can chat, and anybody else can listen to my questions.
Amazing, love it. Okay, guys.
Did you want to use your Zoom, Jess?
Or mine?
Yeah, I can leave the meeting open if you want.
You can leave the meeting open, and then just make me a host, and then maybe some of the questions that Jenna asked will be helpful. And whoever, if there is anyone else, I don't know if you've got more questions, feel free to stay on, and then I'll try to do my best to answer.
You're going to be in very safe hands, guys. Zsolti is an incredible leader. So I'm going to set up this next Zoom call for the chairman mentorship call. So I will see you guys over there. Have a lovely rest of your evening, okay?
Thanks, guys.
See you guys.
Bye. Okay, so I have a few questions.
Go for it.
The first one, you mentioned that one of your friends or someone you know is paying their student tuition through credit card.
Yeah.
Do you see any, like, obviously they're just charging it on the card, paying it straight away. Do you see are there like hidden fees or disadvantages to doing it that way?
As in doing it through PayPal?
Oh, yes, PayPal.
So not, I don't think about PayPal there is any disadvantage, because PayPal doesn't, it's just basically what they are doing, the school allows PayPal as a payment option. So they just
Oh, I see.
do that online. However, there is another thing, because I was just rushing through, I didn't have the chance to share. I don't know how that works in the States, or I'm sure it's not available, this particular website, then there must be another one. So there is this website called Billhop. And basically what Billhop does is, let me actually, I'm going to share my screen and show you, because it really, I used them before, and it's quite a cool little website. Essentially, it's this mediating website. And what it allows you to do is essentially to use your credit card to pay for anything where credit cards are not accepted. So you can pay for your bills, you can pay for your rent, you can basically, when you just want to utilize your card, whether because of the your credit card because of financial difficulties, or just because you want to get the bonuses, the reward points, that this website allows you to use them and pay for that service. So for example, what I did actually last January, I had a massive tax bill I had to pay, and they didn't accept credit cards. And I was so frustrated because I wanted to earn my points. So I used Billhop. They charge a flat rate of 2.95%, so roughly 3% of the amount you're paying. And I weighed up whether the amount that would cost for me, how that works with the total amount of points I would have earned. And then I make a decision. Points don't always worth it. You don't have to, like, when you read through the guide, they explain it very clearly that the value of a point is not always the same. So for example, traditionally, many people who are in this game say like redeeming points for hotels, for example, not as good value. Also in terms of earning points, some methods are better than others. You just need to kind of weigh up whether the amount you pay in extra, like for example with my American Express card, I pay £200 a year, but in terms of reward, what I'm getting, I'm for example, I received already my companion voucher, and I'm about to receive, probably next month I'm going to get another one. So that's 2 free flights for someone. If I fly with a friend or a partner or somewhere far, that the savings is going to be huge. So, but sorry, going back to your question, there is this website that allows you to bypass systems like that. I have looked into sort of competitors and alternatives to Billhop. So, because I'm pretty sure it's a Swedish company. I don't remember. I mean, it all says it in pounds for me. Maybe if you look it up from where you are, maybe it gives a different website. Maybe it recognizes you're in the States. If it's not working for you, I'm pretty sure there are other websites. It's really good because there are quite a few people out there who want to get their rewards. And also, I was just reading about it today that quite a few businesses use this when they have liquidity issues, when they don't have necessarily the cash to pay for certain things, but it's due. They want to use a credit card. It's a nice alternative method for them to, like, okay, they pay using Billhop and a credit card, and then they pay off the credit card whenever the funds come in, but they can continue to operate. So it has some perks to it.
Yeah, I just looked up Billhop on for US, and it doesn't look like they have a server, or they like cater to my country, but I bet there's an alternative of some sort available.
Quickly, Billhop in Billhop USA.
Also, I was just wondering about paying the tuition through the credit card, because, for example, yesterday made just like a one-time payment on my tuition, like $2,000.
Yeah.
And if I would have put that on my rewards, my current like rewards cards and build it on there, I would have already made like $80, which isn't that much, but you know, I don't know. It's good.
Sorry, the line, it's cutting out a little bit. So what's the question?
Oh, sorry. I was just saying that when you said paying for tuition through credit card, it makes sense because yesterday I had a large bill of $2,000 that I had to pay off.
Mm-hmm.
And it would have been worth my time to like use the credit card and just like transfer the money and do that sort of thing. But
exactly. So if you have the funds to pay for it, you know, especially with big bills like that you have regularly, like for me the tax bill, for you the tuition, if you are able to channel it through a reward card, like it can really boost your points and you can quickly get to whatever target you have. I mean, I mentioned Bangkok because of someone, but I'm sure that, you know, you have your own plans where you want to go. You can just search like, okay, how many Avios points does it take for me to get there? Or maybe for you, it makes sense to join a different reward scheme. So again, because I had to cut it short, but it's amongst my links. And also in the beginner's guide, another good, although that's very, okay. So in the UK, we don't really have many options. In the US, you have so many. So if you go to the points guys, they probably have their own version of beginner's guide and say, okay, in the US, these are currently the top cards, pros and cons, and this is what you need to do. Obviously, you need to apply, you need to be eligible.
Mm-hmm.
So there is that one boundary in terms of starting this points game. But as soon as you can have that card, then whatever that is, you might find that, okay, maybe Avios isn't necessarily the direction I'm going to go. For example, Virgin has their own point scheme, and Virgin, I had this open somewhere. I have not. Virgin is also part of a big network around the world with, you know, different airlines. So that might be, you know, better for you depending on your preferences. So yeah, just look out for that when you research, you know, think about like what works the best for you. I'm talking about Avios because that makes sense here in the UK and makes sense because I prefer British Airways.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. I have two. So there's two cards that I have opened like a year ago, and I got the sign up bonus and whatnot. And I was looking today actually to like add another card to my portfolio, more doing individual accounts instead of the one Avos, whatever you have. But another question that I had was, so banks have, I don't know if it's the same in the UK, but banks have hard inquiries on your account when you apply to open up whatever. How would you consider yourself like a churner, opening lots of accounts, or are you focusing more on one, you know?
So I have multiple credit cards. So I have a couple of credit cards that I use to manage some debt. I applied for credit cards that have 0% interest rate for a period of time. So I would say I have a couple of credit cards open, but in terms of reward, that they don't offer any rewards. They're there for a different purpose. But I think I know what you mean.
Is that sort of like a loan, would you say?
Yeah, so yeah, it's essentially instead of going down the loan route, I ended up applying for credit cards that had, say, 24 months interest-free periods. Rather than going for a loan, it would like it gives more time for you to pay back the loan. But they don't usually come with any rewards. Plus, these cards, the ones that do give the rewards, that they never come with promotions. I mean, unless, you know, who knows, the US market is a lot bigger, so you might have some that comes with interest-free periods, but usually you always have to pay them off next month.
Gotcha. But how often do you open up a new card account?
I don't tend to open up new accounts if I don't have to, because I'm conscious that it does affect the credit rating. when you have multiple cards open. But there are a number of factors they look at, and one of the big factors is like they say that the total amount of credit you have available, say across 5 cards, call it 10,000. As long as you are considered a good in a good position if you owe 30% or less of that amount. So if I'm owing around £3,000 out of the 10 that's available to me, then that's a good thing for my credit score. If I owe £9,000 out of the 10, that's really bad, and I'm not even going to get new credit cards. And right now, I'm not thinking of applying for new cards yet, but if I do, I would consider the Virgin one, just because it gives access to another pool of airlines, which I don't get through British Airways. But obviously right now no one is traveling, so I'm in no rush to make that decision. Right now I'm just focusing my American Express, and when I can't use it, I'm just using my MasterCard that's through my bank.
Gotcha. That makes sense. Yeah, I think that here it's kind of, well, when I've been doing the research, like everyone in the US is like, I'm gonna open up 10 accounts, and every 6 months or 8 months, like open a new one for the sign up primarily like for the sign up bonuses and
yeah, I know
perks of that.
Yeah, so
but I don't know if it's the same.
It can be the same. It depends on the person, so I've got like, what's that, 3 or 4 website links in the list I'm going to send through, and they have articles about churning cards. I don't do that. So what I'm doing is more of like, I'm not doing this professionally, like I am super hot on it, but I know I'm already doing a lot to work towards the goal I have. But I could do this a lot better, but we have a lot less options. Probably there's like only a handful of cards I can apply to in the UK to get the rewards. You will probably have dozens and dozens of options because the market is much bigger and there's bigger competition. So maybe it makes more sense in that context. In this context, for me, not so much. But it could be a route, but I would probably read the articles about it, like how to do it without that having a massive impact on your credit rating, but you're still able to get the rewards, because often they are conditioned, like you have to spend X amount over X period of time. But I know some people do it so well, so professionally, that they literally never pay for anything around the world. They get free lounge, they fly first class every month. So that that's another way of playing the system.
Yeah, there's so much to it. I feel, I don't know if I want to like focus all my energies into that, like figuring out how to manage my money through that avenue. But it's definitely like something that you said was like, you should always, I wrote it down, I'm just gonna say it. It was like, you shouldn't spend money without earning money behind it. So I think that is something important that I want to try to figure out.
It's so true. Like even if I'm doing the groceries, I'm doing Tesco, like I always swipe my card, because so many, I'm not saying all point schemes, but the majority of point schemes, they allow transfer with other schemes. Sometimes you need to use multiple ones to transfer one point to another. For example, if I would earn points through Virgin, I couldn't transfer that directly to British Airways. I would have to use an intermediate hotel group. I think it's either Accor or Mercury, I don't remember which one, or IHG. Like I would have to transfer the points from Virgin to them, and then they are partners of Avios, so I can transfer the points. They often come with like a loss during the conversion. You lose some of it, but if you're not going to utilize it, say you're not going to use your Virgin points because you're just not using them enough, then it's still, you can add it to that portfolio. So it's worth to think about transferability, like across anything you do, not just flights, but like any customer reward schemes that that's available around you.
Right. I don't think I have any other specific questions, but that definitely got my gears turning, thinking about how I can maximize.
Glad
my
it was
spend
helpful,
and
because I love it, and it's, you know, it's been a couple of years, and I mean, even now I was just preparing for this session and I found out like, oh, there are now new updates and new options I haven't realized there were. So definitely, especially if someone loves to travel. If you don't like to travel, don't bother, because really the
oh
best.
no, I love to.
Yeah, so anyone watching the recording, if you don't like traveling, don't just, like, you wasted an hour on this watching it. But if you do, honestly, like, this is the best way of, like, you know, free hotels and a car rental. Really, you can sort out holidays with the, you know, flights tend to be the biggest expense. That's another reason. Like, also, like, I've now discovered most of Europe. Like, I really crave to go to far places, but it's just on a different level when you can travel in comfort, and I'm not going to have £3,000-4,000 to spend on business class tickets. So
Right.
and this is accessible, and all I do is just live my life in a smart way.
Exactly.
All right, Jenna,
Well,
I'm glad it was helpful.
it was very helpful.
If you have any questions in the future, you know, you find me in the WhatsApp group, and feel free to text me.
Yep. Sure. Well,
Okay.
thank you.
That's all right. Have a nice day. Thanks.
Bye.
Bye.